leave the hospital, you leave the doctor's office, they give you instruction, and then you're on your own, right? You have to figure out who in the community where you are can help you, right? What, yeah, you can have some recommendation, doctors can give you a flyer and just check these folks out. But depending on what you're dealing with as a caregiver or as a patient yourself, right? There could be a stigma or shame associated with your condition, right? That's the case of dementia. That's the case for lung cancer, right? The lung cancer, right? It's a terrible cancer, and when you talk about folks who have it, or I'll give my example. I sit on the board of the American Lung Association here in Georgia, and trying to raise money. And I've talked to a few folks, and a lot of them are like, well, it's those smokers, right? Those folks who, it's like, it's like, oh, well, it's too bad they got it, but they kind of asking for it. And I'm like, that's not true, right? You have a lot of folks who have never smoked a day in their life, and they contracted the disease, right? So there's stigma associated with some of these conditions, and so trying to get help, right, makes it even more difficult, right? The shame that you have, and be like, okay, can I ask for it? And the stigma that associated is, if I'm asking for this, right? If someone is mentally impaired, right? It's like, it needs to be hidden, right? You don't know. And I've talked, through Evva, talked to a lot of folks, and when they know what we're working on, that's when they open up. And folks that I've known for a few years, they're like, oh my God, my dad is going through that right now. I'm like, oh my God, I've known you for a couple of years, never mentioned that.
Yeah, it is weird that we kind of put it off into a corner, almost like this, or in like in a closet, and we're like, we don't want to talk about that, or it's something that people are ashamed to talk about, and it can certainly wear on somebody. I mean, for you, what was your experience? I mean, being away from your family had to be tough, but what was your experience like? Maybe when you first knew that your dad started experiencing symptoms, then to the very end, kind of thing.
To me, I think, it's the inability and sometimes the helplessness, or figure out, who do I know, who in my network I can contact to help with certain things. And sometimes you don't, it's like, my sister say, hey, I took that to Dr. A, send a bunch of tests. Well, now you're gonna have to email it to me to see what was the result, and have some conference call to talk about what happened, right? She's busy, running a hospital, and she also has her life. She has two boys, have two nephews, right? So it's trouble. It's that helplessness, right? And figure out. I mean, you the will is there to help, but not being. But you're saying sometimes you're spinning your will, and that can be frustrating.